Hello. Hi. All right, let's put me right here, I guess. Hi, Sandy. I'm Joyce. I'm going to record like a little resume review recording thing. I'll just yap a little bit. Thank you for sending over your resume, by the way. This is a really cool read, and honestly, my first impressions of it were very strong. I feel like you have a lot of good experience. Like you have over 6 years of experience in what you're doing with content creation, videography, video editing. It seems like news reporting as well too seems to be the kind of field industry that you're in. So overall, when I read over your bullets, it's like, okay, this person has the experience. Um, and the immediate note that I had was like in the skill section and even in the like professional experience section, what you could add just easily is just the platforms that you've used so that if there is a one-to-one with the positions that you're applying to, it's like, oh yeah, I already know how to use Adobe Premiere Pro and like I have like 6 years of experience at that. So that's like a great way to showcase your expertise and skills of like I'm already trained on this. You don't need to like hold my hand. I got it. And if I were to revise the resume bullet points, because I think your main intention here is to assert that like I know what I'm doing, I'm experienced in this, you should hire me because like I do good work basically. And how you are going to best describe that is by saying instead of just like listing like I guess there's like two ways to list resume bullet points in my opinion. And like one way is to say I did this, I did that. This is also what I did. And the other way is to say, I did this by using this platform or by like, by this way, which resulted in whatever impact that you created for the organization. And so it seems like you've output a lot. I feel like you do have a lot of metrics that you can say, like, I output these many projects per month, or I conducted this many interviews per week. That kind of information where it's like you were very efficient with your work that could indicate. And then overall, basically, how you can just kind of best understand and structure this is by saying, with the XYZ formula, I did X via Y, which led to Z right here. And then it's also by a domino effect too. I learned this from just like years of applying to jobs and feeling like, oh my God, like why is no one really paying attention to me? And then I feel like once I started writing my bullet points this way, um, I'm going to note here, you're always going to be changing your resume. It's never going to be a one and done where it's like, okay, this is my master resume and I send it out to every position I apply to and they love me and they hire me, every single one. You're going to have to curate your resume towards every position, unfortunately, and I'll show you a hack on how to do that easily. But the good news is that when you do a draft like this, where it's like these are your like 3 to 4 major accomplishments in these positions. And this is the impact that you led to the organization, to your work, to your team. Um, and you've won awards too, so you've had a major community impact as well. That way, it gives you the personal power of like, I know my stuff. I know what I'm doing. I'm like a really good person at this job. And it also signifies to the employer, to the person that you're applying to, like, I'm someone of worth. Like, you would be lucky to have me on your team because this is what I've done for other organizations. So this is a good way to structure that. And I would recommend rewriting each bullet point and then other metrics that you could use. Like I wanted to provide some examples here. Is like say like this one you can be a little like with percentages you can be a little free flow with it where it's like if you don't know exactly you can estimate here and no one's going to be like how do you know it's just like well you can say a define like output of like well this changed this process changed in the end so percentages are a good way of being like something was impacted positively here by like this amount estimated to be this amount and this is what the actual change was like in the end we ended up producing more and then you can also say like saving like approximately 5 hours and another way to describe a metric is like well we produced this amount of program or like material per month. And then and yes, so rewriting the bullet points, right? So then how we're going to do that, like, so you're not spending hours on this is, and if you're open to it, I've given you 2 GPT prompts for you to one, rewrite the resume bullets for the XYZ format, and then two, rewrite the bullet points to be catered towards the job description that you are applying to. And for this, the reason why I'm giving you GPT prompts and why I'm not like in the weeds, like rewriting everything, is because I'm not in your industry. I feel like looking at your resume, you know your shit. And so it's kind of like I know a lot about marketing. I know my personal experience in marketing. I feel like everyone has different experience and perspectives when it comes to content creation, videography, video editing, journalism as well. And for me to be like, oh, this is what's going to position you well, in the end, I want to give you that confidence and have you have you just feel like you know your stuff personally because you do. Like I'm just looking at this off the bat and I feel like you're like a pro, like from the awards itself, from how much you've done. Um, and that is something you can easily articulate to an employer, and it's a kind of attitude you can carry as well. So it's like you don't sign up for opportunities, gigs, jobs that aren't worth your time. And you do align yourself because you like it's that kind of idea of I know my worth. Like you do know your worth here. You want to have a good position moving forward. And these two GPT prompts will make that rewriting process a little easier on you so it's not like you're in the weed like you know your industry best, you know your position best, you know what you're working for best. So reading what the GPT has to like spit out and say to you in the end, it's just reorganizing words, right? So it's going to give you a reorganized format of words for you to judge and be like, yeah, you know, that is an accurate description of what I've done. Or no, that's not at all like it. This needs to be rewritten. And you can toy around and play with that too. It's just, yeah, in the end, an easier way for you to go about rewriting this if you want. I also saw your note about should I transition from this creative format to a more standardized Harvard template. And it's cool that you know about the Harvard template. I'm a huge advocate for the Harvard template. I personally advocate for yeah, I personally just always off the bat because when I did use the two columns, it would always mess up with my the parsability of the document. And that's just what I've noticed in my experience where it's like you submit the document in like Workday, right? If they're using Workday and then Workday is like, oh, like these are your positions, right? And then the little job bullet descriptions that you essentially have to rewrite from the PDF that you just submitted, which is annoying. But if it's doing that in Workday and it's not parsing over one to one, which is what the two column format has done for me, I just default to the one column. It parses really easily for me. And I've also drafted a template for you that's similar to the one that I use. And you can change the colors here to kind of, the colors shouldn't be too much of a like a technical experience. I just think that having one column, that's my main consideration, and inputting your information here. And this is how I typically go about it. You know, feel free to mess around with that, but I wanted to include the projects and awards that you have. I include education at the bottom, but again, feel free to reorganize because I'm considered new grad or early career still, even though I'm like 3, 4 years in. It's one of those things where it's like I don't necessarily want an unconscious bias towards my grad year. Like if I were to go on a tangent, like a recruiter literally asked for my grad year like yesterday, and I'm like, you know, I have over 4 years of experience in my field of just pivoting. Like, I'm not going to talk to you about that. So this is the template, a template that you can use. And then lastly, I wanted to leave you off with some optimism because New York is a really great place. Like I said, it's a freaking magical city. And my current organization, I work under Crane Communications. It's a business news publication. So we the organization covers like ad age, modern healthcare, pensions and investments, which all report on more business news stuff, business industry. And I saw your experience with Sierra Nevada Media Group and more of this experience down here where you're actively reporting on events itself and kind of more in the weeds with business and enterprise, those kinds of fields. And while this might not be like a one-to-one on your experience, especially more lately because you're more community focused, I figured that it could be a fun experiment to see because not every job is going to line up one to one with your experience, right? So you can use a GPT prompt, see like copy this over, see how it rephrases your revised bullet points in the XYZ format. So it's like, okay, yeah, like this is how you would emphasize these certain areas in your current experience so that you would best align to the job position. This is also based in New York. I know the recruiter, so if you do end up submitting your application, I can vouch for you. I'll follow up. But yeah, just something have a little bit of optimism. Like New York is the place for you to be, 100%. And I think Crane Communications, specifically more ad age, because that's more with content and community and marketing. Ad age is a great organization, and I can connect you with someone I distantly know at age if you're interested. But yeah, I kind of wanted to brain dump. I had all these all these ideas after looking at your resume, and I was looking at your LinkedIn too. I truly have no notes. Like I think the information that you filled out here is very substantial. And I think we can, like, so that you're not doing more work, you can still lean on these bullets for these your job experience because it's like, yeah, this is just what you did. You're essentially describing it. But if you want to copy over the revised bullet points and showcase your impact instead of the job description of what these positions were, I think that'd be a very good use of that too, just as like a first impression. Great use of the links. You're very savvy with this, so I don't have to like say like, oh, fill out your about section. Like you know what you're doing. And what else? What else? I think a great use if you also want another piece that could help better position you is I'm going to always advocate like say this. I think posting is a great way to showcase who your personality, who you are, your learnings. Um, and also have your profile drive more visibility while you only have a certain number of connections currently. As you post more, you will find more people under like certain hashtags of like journalism, and you don't even necessarily have to be like, I'm looking for a position. It's like, this is what I've done in the past, and this is what I'm really proud of. And it positions you as an expert in your field of like, you, Sandy, know what you're doing. You've had experience in this before. You love your work and you are open to new opportunities. So that's my brain dump currently. But I hope this is helpful. I will send you this Google Doc, the resume template, and this recording, of course, later on. But please let me know if you have any questions. I'm always open to answer more curiosities that you might have. And yeah, hope this was helpful. Thank you, Sandy, for reaching out.